Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Now I want to preface this video immediately, okay, by stating that I am a Sean Strickland fan. That's one. Two, in his fight against Dricus Du Plessis at UFC 297, I did score it in favor of him. And the more that I watch the fight, the more that I'm confident in that scoring, okay? However, Sean Strickland is essentially ducking Robert Whittaker. Okay, now if you are a Sean Strickland fan, chill out, first of all. Second of all, you can say that it's smart that he's doing this, okay? But you also then have to admit that he is in fact doing it, and I don't think that it's arguable at this point in time. Now, I don't know that he has officially been offered a fight with Robert Whittaker, okay? However, he took to Twitter yesterday to say this. I want to read it out for you. I want to go over a few things and point out the flaws in his logic and talk about how I think that this is exactly what the UFC was hoping for, and that they're going to be elated that Sean Strickland is taking this route, okay? So, quote, I keep getting asked to fight Whittaker. I beat Izzy. The world knows I beat Dricus. Whittaker lost to both. I am the number one contender. I defended that spot easily against Costa, okay? I will wait. Now, first of all, I want to point out that, as I said, I believe the UFC is going to be absolutely elated that he is taking this route, okay? Because despite the amount of times Dana White has gone back on saying things like, you don't sit out and get title shots. That's not how it works, right? For the most part, that does seem to be true. Sean Strickland does not have the leverage to be pulling off a maneuver like this, okay? Yes, he has a pretty big fan base. He's very popular. But he is also a PR nightmare. So I would imagine that Dana White, or at the very least the PR team, looked at this tweet and went, hell yeah, dude. Now we don't have to deal with Sean Strickland in a title opportunity, okay? You don't have the leverage for this kind of stuff. And oftentimes, neither does anybody else that takes this route. Sometimes you have to have something, like, you need to get lucky. And things have to completely and totally fall into place, work out in your favor, in order for somebody that is sitting out and waiting to get a title shot, unless your name is Israel Adesanya, okay? Now, I don't think that Israel Adesanya getting a title shot is deserved whatsoever, but the fact of the matter is that he is, okay? So there's no point in arguing it anyways. Sean Strickland, on the other hand, could very easily go out there, fight Robert Whittaker. In my opinion, he is a very good stylistic matchup to beat Robert Whittaker, and he would be undeniable at that point. But when you take the route of sitting out and waiting for an opportunity, you have to get unbelievably lucky to get that opportunity for the most part. Okay, I understand that they had a close fight and there is a bit of a selling point there. The rematch, the controversial decision, all this stuff. Sean Strickland's a nightmare for the PR team. This was shown to us by behind-the-scenes footage that came out for the Roku documentary about the UFC, right? Like, they don't like dealing with Sean Strickland, and he's giving them exactly what he wanted. Also, let's move to the next point, dude. He's using bad MMA math to determine who gets title shots, and that's just unhinged behavior, okay? You defended your number one contender spot against Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa? You mean the guy that hasn't gotten a win over a ranked opponent ever? I don't think he has a single victory over anybody that's ranked. That's one. Two, in the last half of a decade, 5 years, he's beaten Yoel Romero, who no longer fights in the UFC, who's almost 50, okay? And Luke Rockhold, who ended up leaving the UFC after that fight, who hadn't gotten a good win in a long while as well, right? Paulo Costa also lost to Marvin Vettori. 4 months before he lost to you, he lost to Robert Whittaker, okay? So in what world does beating Paulo Costa at this stage in 2024 give you a title shot, okay? The reason why Robert Whittaker continues to find himself in title opportunities, despite losing them, is because he just fights, dude. He's willing to take fights, okay? He beat Paulo Costa after he lost to Dricus Du Plessis. He took a fight against Khamzat Chimaev in Saudi Arabia, which is like the worst place that you could possibly take a fight against somebody like Khamzat Chimaev. And you know what I'm talking about, okay? Then, on very short notice, accepts the fight against Ikram Aliskerov, who is not even ranked, who has a couple fights in the UFC that nobody in the rankings wanted to give an opportunity to, because why put up their number one spot, their number two, their number three, their number five spot against a guy with 2 fights in the UFC, okay? And he went out there and starched him badly, perfectly, in the first round, okay? Meanwhile, if we want to use Sean Strickland's bad MMA math logic, we can go look at who he's lost to. Right now, again, I think that he beat Dricus du Plessis, so we'll whatever. Jared Cannonier, I also think he could have gotten the nod in this fight as well, but you lost to Jared Cannonier, officially speaking, right? Robert Whittaker beat Jared Cannonier, okay? Beat him convincingly as well. You know, almost finished him at one point, okay? Sean Strickland, if everybody used your logic, you lost to Alex Pereira, right? Israel Adesanya, yes, he lost to him a gang of times, but eventually did starch him right before your fight with Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya could have used that to say, I'm not fighting that guy. No, I'll wait for Dricus du Plessis. You can find a new main event because Sean Strickland lost to Alex Pereira and I just flatlined that guy. Like, this kind of MMA math can't be used to determine who gets title shots. Now, again, dude, I think that Sean Strickland should have been getting the title shot over Israel Adesanya anyways. But it doesn't matter because he didn't, okay? So in the meantime, dude, take the fight against Robert Whittaker and go jab his face off because that's kind of what I think would happen. I think Robert Whittaker tends to struggle a little bit with guys that apply heavy pressure, guys that have good boxing, guys that have good jabs and stuff like that. Also good defense, right? Which Sean Strickland has all of these things. You go out there and you beat Robert Whittaker, you are completely and totally undeniable. But if you're going to sit out and wait, Robert Whittaker, considering he just finished a fight that took a round, I don't think he got touched a single time, could realistically speaking turn around, fight on the same card that Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis are going to be on as a backup, or he could have a fight there, okay? Go out there and do something spectacular once again. You're getting jumped over by a guy that you think you shouldn't be just because you wouldn't accept the fight with him. You want to cement yourself as the title contender. You take the fight with Robert Whittaker on the card that Dricus du Plessis will be facing off against Israel Adesanya. You go out there, you jab his mush off, okay? And then you get a title shot. Do you know what I mean? I'm keeping that same energy, bro. I don't like when guys sit out and wait because it's one, it holds things up. Two, it's entitled behavior, very diva-like, okay? Which Sean Strickland's been receiving quite a bit of diva accusations in the last, 6 months or so. And he kind of just keeps making it worse, dude. I've defended him on multiple occasions, but at this point, I can't, dude. You are ducking. You are ducking. I'm going to call out John Jones for ducking. I'll call out anybody for ducking, even if I'm a fan of them, like I am Sean Strickland, okay? Fight Robert Whittaker, dude. Stop waiting and giving the UFC exactly what they want, dude. When you know that the UFC did not want Sean Strickland as champion, or at the very least that they would prefer to have somebody else as champion, when Dana White admitted he thought Sean Strickland beat Dricus du Plessis, he wasn't mad about it. He didn't complain about the judging. He didn't care. He just said, yeah, I thought I scored it for him. Whereas you see in other fights, Dana White will tear the judges apart. He will tear the referees apart if they make bad decisions. He didn't seem to mind in this one. Because one, he knew he could make the fight with Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya. And two, he knew that he didn't have to deal with Sean Strickland on the biggest stages of all time as frequently, at the very least, as he was currently dealing with him. Do you know what I mean? So, Sean Strickland, you don't have as much leverage as you think you do, okay? Just because you've got a ton of fans that will defend you no matter what, okay? Stop ducking Robert Whittaker. Go fight him. Go jab him in the face a bunch of times. Go teep his body. Do all that shit. I think you would beat Robert Whittaker. I'm going to be honest. I'm not using recency bias here. Yes, Robert Whittaker looked fantastic against Ikram Aliskerov. Ikram Aliskerov's not Sean Strickland. Okay, dude? The reason why Sean Strickland got so many fans in the first place is because he was doing what Robert Whittaker was doing. He was taking short notice opportunities and beating the shit out of guys, right? He still has a win over Nasruddin Imavov, who is now in the top 5 of the middleweight division. Like, this is how you got to where you are. Don't fuck it up now. All right, dude? Take the fight. Anyways, dude, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.